When I was about 13 or so, my father and I were sitting down for a horror movie marathon. It was the Friday the 13th franchise. And in one of the movies, I think it was the fourth one, there was this incredibly absurd scene where this lady is in a sleeping bag, and Freddy walks up and he zips up the sleeping bag all the way, and then he picks up the sleeping bag and he begins whacking her against the tree as hard as he can. And the absurdity of that kill was so hilariously funny to me. And I can't even begin to tell you why. There was just something about that stuck in my mind all these years later. And so I tell you this story to tell you that I have a connection with the Friday the 13th movies. And that is that when it comes to the trinity of slashers, that being Freddy, Myers, and Jason, of the three, Halloween is my favorite movie, but Jason's got to be my favorite slasher. See, while Myers has a tendency to just kind of kill people, and Freddy's got his weird supernatural killing ways, Jason has probably the biggest variety of the way he kills people, and it's so fucking absurd almost every time the way he comes up with things. And so, obviously, I want to have Jason in Dead by Daylight. Regardless of what I say in this video, I wish Jason would come to Dead by Daylight. If you've been missing streams and want to see live gameplay, then go ahead and check out my YouTube channel, The Kaiser VODs, where I upload every game that I play in multi-hour compilations. We also have a collection of short compilations of clips from stream. We'll see you over there. Link is in the description. Now, the inspiration for the Trapper was obviously Jason, and I mentioned this in my Trapper analysis video, which you should go watch if you haven't, by the way, where I kind of like laughed at the idea that Trapper was inspired by Jason, because the only similarities they share is they have a mask and a cleaver. And that's not really like, I can see the idea, but that's not really enough of a connection. And when they released the hockey skin for Trapper, that was kind of them saying, hey, by the way, we're never getting Jason. Now, I tried to look into this, but I couldn't find a lot of information. Apparently, there is some sort of weird licensing issues with Friday the 13th. Like, apparently the licenses for some of the movies are like split between multiple parties, and it's very difficult to get a tangible hold on them. Now, the devs have spoken before and said that Jason's not coming for a while, but they would like to have him here. So I guess now we just have to theory craft a bit. How would Jason even work? The thing is, we already have the big brute and the perks to go with the big brute in Trapper. So Jason would have to have a power that somehow, some way connects to him being a big dude without just regurgitating Trapper. Now, I don't know. I can't even begin to tell you what Jason's perks might be. I do know that the camp would be a cool ass map to have, but for me, I think Jason would be one of those characters that would be so hard to implement, and I'm really scared they would just end up making him another chase killer, like another dude with a knife. So my idea was to give him some sort of power that either let him reduce stuns severely or be completely immune to stuns. And I don't know how well that would work, but it's the only thing I could think of. I would love to hear other ideas, by the way. I think that if people could give me more ideas about how a Jason power would work, but it's just so difficult to think about, right? Because at the end of the day, Jason is a very basic person, right? And Myers was too when they brought in Myers, but it was easy to get, not I wouldn't say easy, but it's pretty, the power of Myers makes sense is what I'm saying, right? When you look at the power of Myers and you look at Myers himself, it makes sense. Myers stalks. Pixel Bush did a fantastic job breaking this down in his lore video on Myers, where the first part of the stalk, your tier 1, matches the first part of the original Halloween movie. Then tier 2 matches perfectly with the middle of the Halloween movie when Myers starts actually killing people. And then tier 3 matches the climax perfectly, where Myers is full balls to the wall going after his obsession and everything. And so that's pretty cool. And the original power that Freddy had seemed to be fairly lore accurate from what I've heard. It's just a shame they had to change it because he was dog shit. And I feel like they probably could have did a better job. And I will remake my reworking Freddy video eventually. But the point is that I don't see what they could do with Jason. Like, what power would they give him? How would they match the movies? I assume they would involve his mother's spirit in some sort of way. Maybe a type of recon killer who gets whispers or visual indicators when survivors are near. I'm sure they would give him some sort of deep wound effect, probably. But what would you actually do with Jason? I know his Mori would probably be pretty badass. But my other problem with having Jason in Dead by Daylight is that there's just so many dudes with knives, man. Just basic, almost every killer feels like a dude with knives, right? Even something like Huntress is just a dude who throws knives, and Trickster is a dude who throws knives, and Deathslinger is a dude with a knife on the end of a gun. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm so sick of humanoid killers, and that's why I was so happy with the Unknown and Singularity, because they've been leaning more into body horror and monstrous killers. So while I think Jason definitely deserves a part in Dead by Daylight, I just don't know necessarily if he has enough of a presence in Dead by Daylight. That's not right. I don't know if he would be unique enough to come to Dead by Daylight. Like, I don't know if it would be a case of us getting a killer that we actually need or getting a killer because of the novelty, and that's what scares me. But as always, I don't make these videos just to spout my opinions at you. I like to know your thoughts down below as well, so please let me know. And as always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today and get great perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.